The mushroom cap and stem, regions of violent turbulence and intense heat, starts to climb at the rate of 6,000 feet per minute and to rapidly expand, completely dwarfing the entire lagoon and target fleet. A column of white, death-dealing radioactive cloud high above the Pacific. Seen approaching the cloud is a drone that will fly directly through the center of the radioactive mass. The mother plane pulls away while the crewless aircraft continues steady on its course and straight into the cloud. After 10 minutes, the cloud had risen to a height of 60,000 feet. This view of the initial blast shows the intensity of the turbulence that resulted from the detonation. Rolling outward at a tremendous rate of speed, the initial cloud is formed and follows the rapid progress of the shock wave as it fans out in all directions. Rapidly disintegrating into a donut-shaped formation, the cloud belches forth a seething fireball supported by a flaming stem that reaches down into the water. This panorama of color, magnificent to behold, the fireball emerges from the heart of the cloud for its few brief moments of glory before dying away to leave nothing but steaming vapor and scorched steel to mark its brief existence.
In this view of the blast, recorded from a camera tower on Bikini, the suction caused by the explosion can be seen pulling the soot from the ship's stacks into the center of the rising column. The towering cloud column rose to a height of almost 8 miles.
The Able Day mission has been completed. Dave's dream has come true. The famous plane taxis up the runway to the parking ramp, there to be greeted by the ground crews that played such a vitally important part in the operation. A great team, tuned to perfection in accomplishing a great task, feels a deep sense of pride in its accomplishment. Anxious radio listeners around the world hear from the bomb carrier's crew how it felt to transport and drop the world's 4th atomic bomb. General LeMay and General Power return in their command ship to proclaim the mission a success and to congratulate those who made it possible. Literally miles of film that have indelibly recorded the day's proceedings are unloaded from the photographic plane. Classified as top secret material, the film is taken away under armed guard to be developed. cameramen, weary from the harrowing experience, alight from the planes and are immediately busied with exchanging thoughts on the phenomenon which they've just witnessed. It's in the can. Approaching the runway on Eniwetok is the first drone to return from the Able Day test. This plane, completely pilotless, since its early morning takeoff, has rendered an invaluable service to science by flying directly through the atomic cloud, a mission that would not have been possible with anyone aboard. This landing concludes the first completely radio-controlled flight of the four-motor B-17, introducing a remarkable development in the progress of aviation. Radiological technicians with Geiger counters cautiously approach the plane to determine the degree of radioactivity. Ground crews await the OK before running in to cut off the engines by throwing an emergency switch. The plane is removed from the runway as soon as possible to make way for other drones that are following. The radioactive dust collector is removed from the top of the fuselage by cautious workers who carefully avoid overexposure to the still mysterious elements. An airbag that has been fitted in the bomb bay of the drone is removed to an adjoining ramp. Air gathered in this bag will be analyzed by scientists who will learn for the first time exactly of what this radioactive atmosphere is composed, putting them just that much closer to the many mysteries of the atom bomb.
Navy F-6F drones flown back from Bikini by mother control planes prepare to land at Roy Island. When the drone's near the ground, air control is switched to the ground control officer at the edge of the flight strip who lands the pilotless aircraft. Now at Bikini, inspection parties make a preliminary appraisal of the damage to the target fleet. Burning from fires started by the low-order detonation of torpedo warheads is the aircraft carrier Independence. The light carrier was heavily damaged, for the blast struck the ship on the port quarter, warped, buckled, and carried away light plating, and pushed up the flight deck so that it looked like a rooftop. The Independence-class carriers are built on lightly constructed cruiser-type hulls, which accounts in part for the heavy damage. The aircraft carrier Saratoga was undamaged except for a small fire in supply stores. The battleship Nevada, target ship of the array, suffered moderate superstructure damage and the deck aft was buckled. The paint on one side was scorched but did not burn.
Back on Kwajalein, preparation for the second test is underway. The underwater blast, to be designated as Baker Day. Photographic equipment is inspected by expert repairmen who check every moving part to ensure the same perfection that existed during the first test. On the flight line, the planes that performed so well on A-Day are inspected with utmost scrutiny. For these men of the ground crew, no part is too small for their immediate attention. No job too big to be handled at a moment's notice. Refreshed cameramen load their equipment. Through the camera openings on the side of the plane are thrust the huge telescopic lenses that will once more record for posterity the blast of the atom bomb. It's early morning at Kwajalein, and around the island, as well as throughout the world, vibrates a new name. This is Baker Day. The aerial armada that will participate in the operation begins its long journey to Bikini Lagoon. High over the target array, the planes that took part in the first test are once again in their assigned positions awaiting the blast. Several fathoms below the limpid waters of the lagoon, the atomic bomb awaits radio-controlled detonation.
At sea, aboard the aircraft carrier Sador, a naval photographic officer briefs the photographic plane pilots and lens experts who will photograph the Baker Day blast. Also taking off from the carrier are control planes that will guide the radio-controlled drone boats. In Bikini Lagoon, radiological reconnaissance boats directed from low-flying aircraft will be used as safety patrol vessels. Immediately after the blast, these drone boats equipped with special instruments to record radioactivity will be guided through the target area to capture samples of water and air. Determining the concentration of deadly radioactive particles is of the utmost importance, since invisible gamma and beta rays kill without warning. Aboard the firing ship USS Cumberland Sound, the Los Alamos group of the Manhattan Engineer District enter the timing laboratory where the radio transmitters and specially constructed instruments for detonating the bomb are located. Timing laboratory scientists pass into the master control room. Dr. Marshall Holloway, leader of the Los Alamos group, unlocks and personally throws one of the master transmitter switches. The timing laboratory is a complex interlocking system of radio transmitters, timing recorders, and scientific apparatus. As H hour approaches, generators are started, transmitters warmed up, graph cards on time recorders changed, and everything made ready for the blast. H-hour minus 2 minutes is broadcast from the ship, and all hands stand by. Sitting at the central console switchboard with a microphone is Dr. Ernest Titterton, assistant to Dr. Holloway. As he announces H-hour minus 30 seconds, Dr. Holloway throws the 30-second switch. Dr. Titterton at the automatic firing panel board prepares to broadcast the last 15 seconds.
15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
pictures of the descending water column show the expanding cloud of spray and fog at the base of the column, moving outward and covering the ships in the target array. Great quantities of radioactive water from the column descended upon the decks of the nearby vessels, and ship hulls a mile away were drenched by the wall of foaming water. This wall of lethal spray and fog eventually covered the entire target fleet.
At 08:35, the huge area of Bikini Lagoon arose with lightning-like speed and boiling violence. Although not visible to many, the first sign of the detonation was the emergence of a fireball from the point on the water where the LCM had been anchored. This fireball, not nearly equal in size or brilliance to that of the Able Day test, appeared only to be immediately hidden by the dome of the water column as it opened up, forming a crown. Dwarfed by the towering pillar of water that rises from the lagoon are the target ships, which bounce around like corks on the turbulent water. Progress of the aerial shock wave started immediately upon detonation and manifested itself in the formation on the water's surface of a white circular